not muted, Rainey. You're not muted, Rainey. You're not muted, Rainey. That was it. You keep starting it?
So what's happening? You hear a feedback?
That's all right. We're good now. I got you.
Oh, okay. I had to close the chat.
It's all right.
Oh well.
All
Tell
right.
him I can't chat because I can't.
All right. All right, here we go. We're going to start. Look at that. People are waiting.
Welcome to Podnutz Pro, episode number 1.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to not just another episode of Podnutz Pro. This is episode 300, and I am joined by the talent part of the show. As per usual, Mr. Matt Rainey is in the house. Matt, how are you?
Doing well, thank you.
All right.
That's not a good description of the talent.
That
may have been a long time ago, but now that's all you.
You're the one people want to hear your stories. They want to hear your clients. They want to hear you talk about anything more than a yes or no is billable.
That's a good rule to live by.
It's a very good rule to live by. So here's a question for you. Did you ever think when this started that you would be listening to show 300?
When I first started, I probably thought, sure, I can do this forever. But the reality is, no, not me doing it. No.
Well, that was the question I was going to ask next. Did you actually think you would be doing show 300?
No.
Because you basically, I don't want to say you quit, but you walked away twice.
It's like those retire. And then you come back, and then you retire again.
You're the Jordan of Podnutz, isn't it?
That's right.
And do it well. All right. And we have a full house tonight. Look at all the people in here. So Mike Wise, hello. John Dubinsky, John Reed, hello, everyone. Thank you for watching. We are going to have, as per usual, an unscripted show because we can't ever stay on task as it is, but got a couple of great surprises lined up for us. We're going to talk about the good old days and maybe a little contrast and compare about how the show started and where it is today. And you all can tell me, what in the world did you do to the show?
No, they all like it.
They all like it. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. I'm actually going to start by bringing somebody on who I want to recognize as somebody who helps us, allows us to do what we do. And I'm going to actually, before we do that, I have a little video that I want to play. And nope, actually, I'm going to wait till later because I want to get him on and have some other stuff on here. But folks, the person that allows me to do this and doesn't yell at me when I screw things up, the owner of Podnutz, Door-to-Door Geek, Steve McLaughlin. He is now in the house. Door, how are you?
Hey guys, doing really good. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good.
Hey, Door, good to see you.
Always good to see you, Matt.
Were you yelling at some text today? Got the little hoarse voice going?
Let's just say yes. My job duties have shifted, and everyone around me is around 23 to 26. So, you know.
Oh, yes. A lot of juniors, it sounds like.
That's a good training opportunities for you.
Yeah. Yeah. But of course, the only question I have for you, Marvin, was that music that you played, was that copywritten?
No, that is licensed music through Tency and approved by ASCAP, and I will have all of the credentials in the show notes.
I'm just messing with you. I have to.
Yeah, imagine how many shows I ruined years ago by just like plopping on music on you guys.
Well, it could have been worse.
So Dor, I was just asking Matt, looking back and thinking about when the show first started, I know that you were kind of around. I don't know how much involved you were with that, but in terms of, the shows back then and the shows now as the owner, what do you think? What do you think about the shows?
I was around back then, but I had the dream of being a full-blown enterprise tech. I've been 23, 24 years at the same place. I've been everything from a warehouse employee, a PC tech, a domain administrator, a software developer, security. So I've really done everything. And I almost miss the idea of doing administrative type work, is what I'll say. And I'll say when it started, it had the dream of becoming an enterprise focused show. You pretty much cemented that you handle everything at that high level, not the PC tech kind of thing. You handle the big enterprise scope type task, which I got to say I'm pretty envious of.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, although I probably can't agree 100% because, enterprise means really, really big. And I'm kind of in between.
There's grades. Well, here's the thing I like. You're boots on the ground enough to understand what any tech is talking about, but you have the experience and the expertise to also communicate to people like executives and the big architects on what to do.
Okay. That I appreciate. And it was one of the things when I, helped bring the show back that we got comments about, is that we wanted to have more business enterprise type stuff, kind of like when Matt, started the show back then. A lot of computer repair techs, a lot of residential techs wanted to hear about business, and that's what you guys brought.
Yeah. Had to be a pro.
Had to be a pro. Speaking of pros, Matt Rainey, still at the same firm that you were when you started the show. How are things going?
Good. Yeah. So I've been there for 20 years, maybe 20, 21. Yeah. Going good. Still going good. Still steady, busy every day. I mean, I've been transitioning to more service manager, doing less, trying to do less tickets because I'm supposed to pass that along and let the techs do it. But
I thought you were going to say more of an ownership role, like you were starting to, take over after so many years.
No, still a partner, but more of the day-to-day service manager, dealing with making sure the techs are doing what they're supposed to be doing, that kind of thing.
Doing stuff that they didn't do, right?
Making sure making sure they did it right, or making sure they do it, or fixing it if I have to fix it, and then telling them how to fix it.
Yeah.
To show them this is what you can do next time, so I don't have to fix it behind you.
Nice.
So I'm trying to get it to where I can just watch the tickets, make sure it's all getting done. That's what I really want to do.
And you can do that from anywhere, right? You like to be able to do that from home?
I can do that from anywhere. Yep.
Or on the beach in Cancun?
Or
if you have to.
I'll do Grand Cayman. I'll do Cayman Islands.
If you have to suffer, if I have to go on vacation.
Yeah. Well, see, it wouldn't be vacation, it'd be relocation.
Oh, we're talking relocation now, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's the goal. Relocation.
All right. So let's see. Door, any comments on the transition from the old show to the new show? I know that you, for the most part, well, I don't know recently because you don't edit our show anymore, but you used to listen to every single show. And I remember in the early days, the comments you'd send me. So how do you see things now?
Well, I'll first say I always try to be productive with any comments toward anybody. If you don't hear any comments, trust me, it's a good thing on all parties' accounts. I still listen to everything done by Podnutz, but to be honest, like September for a month isn't even done yet. Today is September 28th. No, 30th, sorry.
You're 2 days behind.
And looking at my podcast player in the month of September, I've already listened to 31 days worth of content.
There you go.
So when I say I listen to everything, I listen to nearly everything. Hence one of my newer podcasts, the Evolving Door, which is like a 1.5-minute review of a podcast.
Yep, I've been taking those in every now and then, and some of the shows are pretty good good referrals. Some of them not kind of in my wheelhouse, but always good to know what shows are out there. You never know.
Yeah, and trust me, anything I said in the beginning, I was only trying to be a helping kind of thing. And everyone starts a podcast, and you have no choice. You have to grow. The podcast has to change. The best thing is to let it grow naturally. And to be honest, I think you let it grow very naturally, which just meant as every episode went on, you seemed more and more natural, more and more at ease, to where it got to a point to where it's pretty obvious that you were having fun.
Oh, that's just a facade.
Well, it works. Maybe you should have been on that debate stage.
Oh, didn't watch that either. I just knew I did not want to see that train wreck.
Yeah, train wreck. Yeah.
I actually rushed home to make sure the wife didn't watch, because I did not want to hear all of her frustrations with how things were said doing that. So instead we watched reruns of 90 Day Fiance.
Trust me, you got more out of it. Yeah.
Yep. So yes,
well,
Matt.
unless you ignored the internet today, I'm sure you heard enough. So
work was busy for me today. I was quite surprised. I had let's see, I got an order for 25 workstations. I got a order for a new terminal server that is going to be for 27 users. We're doing a nice, big, robust HP server. The quote was for 29 grand. And so that's got to go in, not this next upcoming weekend, but the next weekend after that. We're also doing a SQL maintenance project that weekend. I'm not doing it. I'm actually getting the SQL guru remoted in. He's going to do it, but I have to monitor what they're doing. Got to come up with work for my nephew. So
what does that mean? He's working with you? He's one of your techs?
He is on the payroll now. So
that's good. But I'll say SQL maintenance. I've been doing like a couple hours of SQL maintenance every day for about 10 years. And if I never do it again, I'll be perfectly content.
I have no idea what they do. I just get them on and I say I'm watching, but I don't.
Yeah, that's what I do. That's the path I follow. And then inevitably a year later they say, hey, what'd you set the SA password to? I say, I didn't set that. You said it.
Right.
Well, I don't think we said it. No, I have my notes. All I did was start a remote connection.
Yep.
They always want to say we said it.
Yep.
Typical.
And of course, so in this particular case, it's replication maintenance. So we've got two sites that, replicate the database back and forth. So somehow they've got one password in one place and one in another. And I don't know why. I don't know how they did that and why they did that. It's just ridiculous. So, and then they'll have certain tables replicating because it's a case management software, and then it's a billing program that they also replicate tables, even though it's a separate program. It is just an absolute mess, but I don't have to do it. So
you just monitor and bill.
Yep.
That's my favorite thing.
And the best part is I can bill to monitor.
Yeah, I love it.
So I've got to be available. It's like being on call, right? You got to get paid for being on call.
My favorite job that I've had over the years was a law firm, and they had to get a computer forensics person in. And I might have mentioned this years ago, but the attorney that hired us said, well, the people doing the imaging are sending their own person. That's the defense. I forget what side I was even hired by, but they hired me to go sit there in the conference room with him and watch him image the hard drives, because they wanted someone there to make sure he wasn't doing something wrong. So we billed like $300 an hour for I don't know how many days, and I sat in the conference room with him and watched him image hard drives.
Gotta love that.
Yep, I loved it.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. I promised that there would be some surprises tonight, and one of those surprises just hopped into the green room. And in order to introduce this person, this is one of the things that I want to do. So without further ado, let me do this.
Welcome to Podnutz Pro, episode number 1. New show. We just started. First episode. I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited, and our co-host is excited. I'll introduce him in a second. Podnutz Pro is a show for computer technicians who are interested in small business, servers, business class things that are not the normal residential things we talk about on Podnutz Daily. It's also going to be a great show if you're interested in making a transition from residential to business. And co-hosting the show is Matt Rainey. You guys know him from the episodes of Podnutz Daily he's done that you guys have raved about, saying we want more server stuff, more business stuff. Well, we're doing a show all about it.
And here he is, the godfather of Podnutz podcasting, Steve Cherubino. Steve, how are you?
What is up, guys? Can you hear me all right?
Steve.
Oh, we hear you just fine.
Steve.
Man, I like being a surprise. And if you notice in that show, or that first show, I had no idea what I was talking about. I actually knew nothing about business. And that's the trick, right, Dory? If you want to do a show about Linux, you don't have to know about Linux. You just have to have a person who knows about Linux to be your co-host. So,
Well, and then you have to have somebody who doesn't to ask the, in air quotes, dumb questions that everybody listening wants to know.
yeah, I had a lot of those.
How's it going, Steve? Good to see you, Steve.
Hey, Matt, what's going on, man?
It's
Good
been
to see
a
you.
long time.
I know, dude. Yeah, man. So it has been a long time. It has been a long time. When Marvin asked me to do this, I'm like, wow. I'm like, it's going to bring up all these old memories and feelings and stuff like that. So I'm feeling it now, actually.
Well, speaking of feeling, how does it feel to see yourself on that very first show? And what do you remember from that?
I just remember I'm just a handsome guy. Like, that's what the main takeaway I got from that. I guess I was like a Phillies nut back then.
Yeah.
But when I look at my old shows like that, sometimes I cringe. But that one wasn't that bad. It's pretty fun. I mean, I remember the fun.
Mm.
But
Yep.
So let me ask this, because it's funny for me to go back and, I came along a little bit after that, so I didn't see the beginning of a lot of these things. But in terms of what made you guys decide to do the show, I mean, I know that you talked about the fact that people were asking for business stuff, but what was it that actually said, okay, we've got to do this, and what made it as you two being the ones to do it?
that's a good question. Do you remember, Matt?
I do. So I was doing, I guess, the Podnutz dailies once in a while. And like you said, my stories were all business stories. I don't do residential. So apparently you got good feedback on that. And there wasn't really many shows. So I remember having to ask you and convince you to do a show. And you were like, I don't know if we can make that a whole show. I don't know if our listeners want that. But then you got feedback and You say, well, we'll try it. We'll see how it goes. If it's not once a week, it's once a month or once every 2 weeks. But so we tried it. But I really wanted to try it because it shows that we're out at the time. I felt we could offer something a little bit different perspective, different way of doing things.
Yeah, that's smart. I mean, it was totally out of my skill set. So I'm happy I had a good co-host, man. Thanks for doing it, Matt.
Yeah. And I remember you were very nervous about it. I said, you don't need to do anything. I mean, you can ask me questions. I'll have a topic. But that was when I was really prepared for the shows. Now, now he says, hey, you want to come on? I'm like, oh, sure. I'll hop on. No notes, no preparation.
Yeah. Let me just get my bourbon poured.
Yeah.
I'll be fine.
That's all the prep I usually need now.
Who's on the show now? Like, who does the show right now, Marvin?
Me and whoever I can, muster.
Yeah.
Which is usually him, yeah.
I brought Rainey back, and then he bailed on me.
That was a transitional thing, just so we could feel comfortable doing it yourself.
So, Matt, you haven't been on in a while?
No, I don't go on very often.
And I don't. Here's the thing: I bring him on, and we go so long that I'm like, we need a break in between. Our last show was 3 hours.
What? Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't get to talk to him much. I mean, the only time I get to talk to him normally is on the shows. That's when we catch up.
Right.
We talk for like half an hour before the show, and then we talk, and then we hang up, and then he like keeps asking questions, and I'm like, dude, I gotta go to bed.
It was one of the main feedbacks that I got from the listeners that the part of the show they liked more than anything was before the show and after the show, like when we just kept the cameras rolling, like when we did live streams. So it's always good to just have that like little extra, I think.
Yeah. And another thing I liked about what we did tonight is to get both Door and Cherubino on together. And, basically the baton was passed. And I know, Steve, you were like, you know what, I'm good, and I'm going to step away. You handed it off to Door, and Door has, taken that torch and certainly run with it. Have you guys stayed in touch, and do you guys talk about, how things have changed?
Well, I'll say the two things. One, I thought I was going to see Steve yesterday or Monday on Podfest Multimedia Expo chat, but didn't see him there. I tried.
Yeah. I'm so out of it.
Why not add? To me, the reason why this show immediately sparked a interest was, it's almost like Eddie Murphy. You eat a saltine cracker, you eat a saltine cracker, you eat a saltine cracker, and after 16 saltine crackers, you have that Ritz, and that Ritz cracker is amazing, and you just want more. Matt brought enough of a different topic to the show that once everybody heard it, they just could not stand to not have it. And they just insisted, give me more, more, more.
Wow.
It's true, man. It was a popular show. It was one of the most popular shows for sure. And me and Door need to be in better touch. I haven't seen him in a while. I miss him, man. It's great to see you, dude. Like, I haven't seen you in forever.
Oh, I'm not. Trust me. I remember the very last time. Damn good time with really, really good people around too, is what I'll say. I'm really.
Podcast? Was it Podfest?
Yeah, Podfest. And I was really sad the following year.
Really drunk.
Oh yeah, but the next year, Chris asked me to come down, and I said I really can't. Things are really bad right now, Chris. I thought we were going to lose the house. A couple other things. I said can't, and I felt like the biggest jerk ever.
Wow, dude, don't feel like a jerk if that's the reason. Everything turned out all right?
I'm still here. She hasn't killed me yet.
Dude.
But coincidentally, she quit her job today.
Oh.
Well, she's got another job.
Good, man.
Okay. Yeah. Leave with stuff like that. Don't freak us out.
And she's the smart one. She's the money maker. I'm the one who's dragging her down. I, take care of the house, and I like feed the kids.
And you're the internet star. That's saying something.
She just says, go downstairs and talk to your nerd friends.
You're like, happy to.
I didn't go to Podfest that year either. So I say this year we all go and hang out.
The next two are already scheduled. One he said in March is virtual, where he set a world record. And then the next one is next July.
Oh, July. Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. I'll be bugging you about that, and anybody else who wants to come. It'll be a
Good.
good time.
I mean, really, really good, nice people all around.
Is this where's this at?
Orlando.
Down here. Come to Florida, baby.
That's right. This is the place. It's another great reason I like Podfest is that's 2 hours away and that's it.
Right.
But it's always a good time.
So I want to do another surprise. I'm going to be full of surprises tonight. I'm going to bring in another blast from the past, and I also have a video intro for this person. So take a look.
Welcome to Podnutz Pro number 29. This is the show where we take you from you fixing home PCs and viruses and reinstalling the Windows to servers and networks and firewalls and routers and all that good stuff. You know, like the one aisle at Best Buy that everybody stays away from. That's where we're taking you. So my name is Lalo, and the co-host here is Mr. Matt Rainey. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great, Lalo. Thank you.
There he is, folks.
Lalo!
Hey, he's in the house.
Dude.
Man.
My God, I was just thinking about you, Lalo.
Yeah.
I drove past a Waffle House. I'm like, where the hell is Lalo?
Me and Steve had the best conversation. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna tell you, Marvin, when you reached out to me, as Steve said, it just brought back the past, and I thought about Dor, Matt, and Steve, and everybody else, and I said, man, you know, how much has life changed over these years? And just hearing you guys just talk within the first 25 minutes of the show, just man, just bring back some memories for everybody.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And you know, and I want to thank Steve for being the brainchild for all this originally, right? Like the original Godfather over there. But and he was a man before his times, because now everyone has a podcast and everybody wants to do everything, and Steve was at the forefront of all that. But no, I mean, what's up?
What's up,
say,
man?
Yeah, Lalo.
You look good, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
And what are you doing these days, Lalo?
I am a senior voice engineer for a local company here. So Cisco certifications. I do everything from network and route switch and voice and all that crazy jazz. So
You're still in Florida as well?
yep, I'm actually still in Tampa, and I'm assuming Steve is too, because he said 2 hours away from Orlando, right?
Yeah, I'm in Clearwater, man, but we got to connect up, dude.
No, dude, no doubt. No
I'll
doubt.
be in Tampa 2 weekends from now, so
All right.
let's do it.
I'll just say I'm really ready to start up one of Steve's dream podcasts of the game show. I'm just saying.
That's right. What was it? What was the show?
It was just a game show where you would ask tech questions and give away stupid fake prizes.
Was it called Tech Game Show? I think that was the.
It was when you were in the very literal name of shows. Yeah.
I'll tell you about one that tanked, and I got a lot of resistance from this one, but I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I built a virtual Podnutz studio in Second Life. I bought land. Do you guys remember Second Life?
Yeah, I remember.
Okay. I bought land and I built a studio, and I slapped a huge Podnutz logo on it, and had all these bleachers and stands and then a place for the hosts. And I'm like, yo, let's do a show in virtual reality. And well, I guess it wasn't virtual reality. It was Second Life, whatever you want to call that. And I remember Mike Smith from Mike Tech Show was like, dude, I'm not going in Second Life. And everybody else is like, yeah, Steve, that's weird. That's creepy. That's stupid. I'm like, I bought land. I built a studio. And we ended up doing it. And I thought it would be the coolest idea, because all the listeners can come and sit in the bleachers and like be there. You know what I mean? I still think it's a good idea. But you guys kind of poo-pooed it. And we did one. It might still be on YouTube somewhere. Or no, it was on Ustream. It's probably not migrated over to YouTube. But we did one show. That was it. And I think I still have that land, to be honest.
That was going to be my question. Are you still an owner of that land?
I'm still a landowner. Yeah. Yeah. That thing. Yeah. I should sell it. See how much that appreciated.
Wow.
That's
Well, did you see what I just, the screenshot I just shared?
Which one was it?
Talking about all the stuff that you do. So Podnutz presents How to Podcast Like a Pro
Oh, yeah.
in our video training series.
That's right.
Steve Cherubino, a real podcaster with over 500 shows under his belt.
I'll tell you, man, if I knew now if I knew then what I know now about selling stuff online, it'd be a different story. But the laptop repair videos, that was a good seller.
Oh yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still getting random emails from people. Where's my access to the videos? I'm like, dude, he sold that site like 8 years ago.
It feels like 20, doesn't it? It feels like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It does.
Oh man,
It does.
good times.
All right. So all the originals here in the house.
The OGs. God.
Marvin, thanks for bringing me on, man. I'm like super excited. Like I
Most
seeing these
definitely.
guys and you guys, everybody. It's fun.
I'm glad you were available, especially today, guys. I don't know if any of you knew this, National Podcasters Day.
Did not know that.
Did you not know that?
I saw that online. Yep.
I listen to Pod News Daily. That's one of the shows. I want to say it's episode 132 of The Revolving Door, where I review Pod News Daily. Yeah.
So had to find a way to make all of this run together, do a 300th anniversary show, and get the original host in the house. So Steve, Matt, Lalo, and of course the current owner, Door.
I can't stop smiling.
That's pretty good planning to plan your all 299 prior episodes culminate on today on Podcasters Day.
Yeah,
Wow,
pretty good planning.
it's a long plan.
It was it was a lot of work, and what's worse is the wife was gone for the last 10 days. So I was doing double duty at the house and trying to figure out how I got to get all this stuff together, sending emails and finding all these clips and reviewing all the early shows on. So they were on YouTube, Justin TV, Twitch. I mean, you guys were all over the place.
No, it's and I'll tell you, because I got Steve's personal podcast, how to do a podcast, his training. It's definitely a lot of work, and it's a lot of work. So you guys know all the work involved, and that's why when I hear people say, "I'm gonna start a podcast," I'm like, it's a little bit more to it than just hitting record and just going.
Yeah. You know what though? Like they're making so many new tools though. It's getting easy. Like which
Anchor,
makes me it actually.
Stitcher.
Yeah, but it makes me mad. Like, no, you guys got to work for this. You can't just like hit a red button and have a show. But
Steve's like, yeah, buy my training before you do podcast.
Yeah, right. Dude, I remember when Lalo started his show, he went all out, man. If you look at that video you played, Marvin, when you introduced Lalo, it looks like he's like in a padded room. Like he bought all this padding for the wall to help sound absorption. He bought a mixer, 4 monitors, all these
Sound
mics.
gate, everything.
Yeah, the sound gate. And it was an awesome little studio, man. I remember that thing.
Yeah, Podnutz Pro would not have gone anywhere without Lalo.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's for sure.
So here's the picture here. There's the pad behind you, Lalo.
The sanitarium.
The pad was supposed to be green so that you could do your screen stuff on the back.
Well, good fact, I am colorblind, so I thought it was green. I guess not. All these years.
All these years.
Oh man. Okay. And so here we go. So Door popped off. Let me get him back on here. There you are, sir. All right.
Wi-Fi. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, I'm on Wi-Fi. Dude, I was a little late because I had to switch computers at the last minute because my audio interface is glitching out. So the glitches never stop.
Nope, they don't. But you were talking about the show being hard work, and boy, have I learned that when I started because, yeah, I'll admit it. My shows were horrible in the beginning. But let me also play a clip that I found and see what you guys think about this.
Hello, everybody. Sorry about the poor audio quality. Washer and dryer kicking on over there, doing its thing. I'm going to do a quick editing of Podnutz Pro. Podnutz Pro is by far the easiest show to edit. Lalo does 50+% of the work, which means we have to do less work. That's good. Okay. I already have the VM up and loaded, which will be uploaded, I guarantee, within 48 hours.
Dude.
How about that?
Yeah, I mean, I love it when people make my job easier, and Lalo truly helped me help him help me, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's all teamwork. It's all teamwork. We all work well together. If we were an actual company, I think we would change the world. So.
Yeah. And I realized how little I did compared to everyone else, so I'm sorry.
Just showing up.
You
Yep.
brought the juice.
You're
You
the
brought
talent.
I can't never remember her name. You always used to say, well, let's call her Pam. or
Mary.
something. Mary. Yeah. Mary had all the stories.
There's always a Mary every day. I guess now they call him Karen, but back then I called him Mary.
Yeah, well, hindsight.
Although my Marys weren't usually as mean as Karens are today. So
My favorite part of Podnutz Pro is that me and Matt, Rainey would sync up. We'll do a mic check, and I'd say, "How's your day?" And he would always go, and then just let me. I feel it was like his therapist. He would vent for 5 minutes, and I said, "You ready? Yeah, come on."
yep.
Let's do it."
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Otherwise, the show would be a lot more complaining, and which I tried not to do. But
You wouldn't complain. You would just report.
I just report, right? That's what I tell my guys. I said, no, they're not complaining about slowness. They're reporting slowness.
That's right. You would talk about your guys. You would give them like fake names. If I let's just say George.
Got to protect the innocent.
Yeah.
So I have a question, Matt. Let me find what I was looking at here, because in the early shows that let me go back to that picture that I had with you and Lalo. And one of the things that I wanted to ask you was, when you were doing the shows, obviously we knew you were doing them from home, but my question is, what is that on the bed over your shoulder?
Okay, so that is it's a stuffed bear, and it's actually a sad story. If you want to hear it, I don't want to bring anybody down, but it's a stuffed bear. I'm just gonna say that.
Okay.
That works.
I would like to thank Marvin to ask that question, because now I feel sad for some reason.
I'm sorry. That's one of those things where if you're not there and you don't know the history, I'm just looking like every other show. There's a bear on the bed.
Yeah, she had that bear. I'm sure she still has the bear, but it's not on the bed anymore. It's probably packed up.
All right.
I'm trying to think of some other guys that had some good backgrounds. Just random stuff happening. Dogs. I know Chris Barry had a couple dogs that would come in.
I remember you complaining about the TV in my background for a while.
Oh, that's right. I would always
yeah.
complain. Dude, I gave Doris so many complaints. This guy.
They were
he put up with-
constructive, though.
No, I'm glad you feel that
I
way.
keep
You-
telling
you
myself
put
that.
up with a lot. You put.
Rainey always
Actually,
had his
question.
washer and dryer going on in the background of our shows.
At where I am now, or
No,
at the old
at
place.
other place, yeah.
At the other place, yeah. Depending on where the computer was at the time, she did one in the bedroom, but the house was small. I can only put the computer so many places. Of course, now we moved, but of course, the washer and dryer is right on the other side of this wall. So,
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Have any of you have ever been recognized in public while doing Podnutz?
Yes. A guy at Comp USA. He was working behind the counter. He's like, Steve, and I'm like looking behind me. I'm like, do I know you? He's like, yeah, I know who you are. And I'm like, from Podnutz? I think I might have been wearing the Podnutz shirt too. And he said, yeah, man, he was a computer repair tech there. That's the only time that has ever happened in my life.
Really?
Definitely no chicks.
Yeah.
I've had 2 times, I'll say. One time was at work. A new employee just walked by in the hall, and I was talking, and then I would just keep walking. I hear, door! I'll just keep walking. We'll come to cross this bridge later. He was a supervisor kind of thing, and it was awkward, is what I'll say.
That's awesome.
It is, but then the next one was at OLF. We were crossing a bridge, and an extremely attractive female just said, "Hey, Dora, I'm a really big fan." I said, "That's great to know," and I walked the other way.
No, Dor, you talk to the fans. You don't run away, my friend. You talk to them.
I have a lot of social anxiety.
Gotcha.
When I started the podcast, I stuttered for 30 years, didn't speak to anybody. I'm comfortable with this. This is why working at home, perfect. Love it. I don't have to walk out and see anybody. I can just sit here and chat with people. But yeah, conferences, I get a little anxious. That's why, hence, at the last one where Steve saw me, I enjoyed my Yingling.
Yes.
Yeah, I often saw him with at least 2 in his hands at once.
Yeah.
And they were like the 22 size cans, too.
That's why they call him double-fisted door.
Wow. Yeah, so I got twice. I went inside a Best Buy and they said, "Are you Lalo from Podnutz?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, dude, I love your shows." And you and Matt and started naming like the whole crew. And I was like, I didn't know what to say. That was the first time I said, "Thank you for listening." Cool. So,
Dude.
So that was cool. The second time was one of my past jobs. I had to call HP for a P1 because something was down, and they didn't want to escalate my ticket. And then I said, "Well, I need to talk to someone now. I have so many people." And they go, "Are you Lalo from Podnutz?" And I'm like,
Wow.
"Yeah." They're like, "Dude, I love your show. Let me transfer you to the next available engineer." Sweet. The show worked out for me. I got escalated real quick.
Wow.
That's awesome. That's more than me.
I've never been recognized. Nobody in Louisiana listens to Tech Podcast, apparently.
Oh, I found a few.
Although, even when we had the show was mostly audio, like before all this video stuff, I didn't get recognized even at the meetups because nobody knew. You had to say, "Or this on my name tag," But other
They
than
had to
that,
hear you speak because
Right.
remember our show, 100 pounds, a beard, and bald or whatever that was?
yeah. So I don't get recognized, which is fine. I don't need to be recognized.
So I'm gonna chip in and buy all the billboards around your home and just put old screenshots of Podnutz Pro.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I
We-
hope I don't look. I wonder if people would recognize that as me now, since I have hair and a beard. And
A couple of those video clips looked like you had a mohawk at times. So
That was like low def is what I'm going to blame it on.
yeah, maybe I hadn't shaved in a while and I had like a little bit of
it was the lighting,
fuzz going on.
I always have bad lighting too, so I understand.
Yeah, in that old house, that was probably in the bedroom, and yeah, all I had was a little light above the ceiling fan.
It's a shame that all the Ustream videos are just gone. There was hundreds on there. The original, I think we did Podnutz Pro with video from the beginning, right? Live streaming from the very beginning.
I believe.
Wow,
Yeah.
See, I don't even remember.
So I found a lot of the shows. They're under Podnutz, but they're kind of split up, and it goes from like 1 to 59, and it's in patches, and then there's nothing after that.
On
So-
YouTube, right?
Yeah, on the YouTube.
Yeah.
And so, of course, one of the questions I was going to ask was, why did you guys stop doing the video? Do you remember?
Didn't
Classified.
stop. Switched to a different platform, trying to get that hotness.
Oh, trying to stay
Yeah.
current. Stay
We
hip.
went from Ustream to Justin TV to Google Hangouts, I think was after that. Yeah.
Google Hangouts Live.
Well, the answer is because Dora was getting recognized in public. He said, "I can't have this. Straight audio."
Yeah, it was hard back then. But you know what? All that streaming was free. Like Ustream was totally free. We didn't have to pay anything. And video quality was all right. I mean, for the time, it was like revolutionary. But
No, and again, I give you a lot of credit, Steve, because we lived in the same city, and Waffle House was our place to go. But I used to see him create the content, and I was just strictly amazed because this was back when now if you want to learn how to podcast, you watch a few YouTubers. Okay, you get a few tips and you're ready to go. He figured it out on his own, with all the applications, and I mean, it was just truly amazing. So
Thanks,
we were
dude.
able to do one of the godfathers of podcasting. So
thanks. I mean, I'm just a hacker geek. So I enjoyed figuring all that crap out. And my setup was probably way more complex than it should have been. But
I wouldn't say than it had to be. You were like the Gordon Ramsay, where everyone today is like Ronald McDonald. Yeah, they are trying to pass off their garbage as food.
Yeah, think about it. Everybody today is trying to, podcast off their iPhone. I mean,
yeah, I know.
Oh, and let me tell you something. Their audio quality shows it.
Mm-hmm. They have done
One thing Steve said, you can't always control what you say and like how it sounds and how good it's going to be, but you can always control the quality of your audio.
Yes.
Yeah, I like good audio
Absolutely.
quality.
Because people can tolerate if it's a bad video, but if you don't sound good, turns people off.
I agree.
Or if you smack your lips too much.
Yeah.
Well, when I learned about de-essing, that like set me back like mentally for audio production like about 3 years.
Set you back?
Yeah, because I had to go back and I had to like completely try to change my mic tactics and then change my post-production, tweaking, because de-essing is a real thing.
It is.
Yeah.
And I just gave up. I just said, look, it is what it is. I'll get the best equipment I can, provided people still buy stuff on Amazon and give me that 0.5%. And I'll do the best I can.
Yeah, but it's always like a science, to the 3-point lighting and the sound and like the video, and it's like, much when you're in the technology field, you can't stop learning, you can't stop getting certifications, I guess, because there's always new, faster ways to do things, right? And it's just like just amazed, right? I had an old instructor one time. I took a course, and he said, if cars develop the fastest technology, they'll be flying into outer space, right? It's just, just look at how just YouTube is just entirely different. I remember when YouTube first came out, I remember I was working at Best Buy a long time ago, and I said, stupid. Who would want to watch a video?
Yeah.
Then poof, just change the world, right? So
I know this stuff. It is crazy. Like what catches on too. Like probably there was 5 other networks that started at the same time, and then just one of them wins, and then they become like the richest people on the planet, basically. Zuckerberg.
Keyboard cat. All it took was one keyboard cat.
That was one of the first memes. Remember Fail Blog? That was a good one back then. I used to like that.
But then it got really violent.
Yeah. I wasn't getting into it when people were actually getting injured, but Nuts at Night. That was some good times on that.
I remember that. Oh, that was good.
It was the reason I watched that show and listened to that show, because it was like people who watch NASCAR. Any second there could be a horrible crash because anybody could take and just go, "What are you talking about?" kind of thing.
My favorite part is watching Steve being like the referee. Like when it would go a little bit too far, like, all right, guys, let's then he just try to change the conversation.
Yeah, the personalities on that show, they were it was a crew. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, nice way to put it.
So I have to ask, you guys have more kids, married? I mean, it's been so long. I know, Dor, you had kids. I know for a fact. When back then.
The wife doesn't believe me. Everything is planned. Okay. The wedding anniversary was 01/01/04 because 01/01 is 4 characters, the 4th year. Her birthday 07/29/77 because 29/7 on the bookends, 77. My birthday is Memorial Day. My oldest son's birthday is Memorial Day. My youngest son's birthday is Valentine's Day. And the year my youngest son turns 18, 3 months later, I can retire from my 9-to-5 job.
You do have it all worked out.
I do.
Not planned, huh? Not planned at all. And we happen to be doing episode 300 on podcast day.
And it's only boys, because I tried to explain to her, it's my choice. All you can supply is the X. I supply the X or the Y. We're getting boys.
We're getting boys.
Because if I had girls, I'd be in jail by now. Because as soon as a grown man woof whistles at my 12-year-old daughter, I'm going blitzkrieg.
I only have 2 daughters. I mean, so I don't have any sons. 2 daughters. But if you have daughters, you get used to having daughters pretty quickly.
I'm pretty sure I'd need a shrink.
I'm still looking for love. I need to find a lady.
The Bachelor.
I still have my 2 kitty cats though. They're my little family out here right now. And that it'll happen. And I do want to have kids. I just don't know when.
Yeah, I mean,
what about you, Lalo?
Got married.
You got married, right? Yeah.
Yeah, to my beautiful wife and best friend Kelly. I know Steve met her, and then we've had 2 beautiful girls. One just turned 4, The other one is 2, and now, God, this
Wow, that's great.
kids are great. I mean, they're just your world, and you know, it's funny because you know, when she was pregnant, I used to ask my guys, "Hey, you know, how does it feel to have a kid?" And they would go, we can't tell you." I'm like, "You jerk! Why can't you tell me?" Like, there's just no words to describe it.
Right.
And then, but seeing them born, you know, if you're like a father, it just words do not do it justice. It's just simply look amazing. So, you know, being doing Podnutz Pro behind a green or whatever color it was background to, you know, now being a dad and a husband, it's insane. So
Dude, congratulations.
Absolutely.
thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not sure I'm not sure what years we did this show. So I think I had 2 daughters when we were doing this show.
Yeah, because I know you had one at least.
Okay. Well, the oldest one's almost 22. The younger one's going to be 16 in a couple of weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, then you had to, yeah.
Yeah, you had to.
Your first show was in 2011.
Wow. I'm glad someone is keeping track of that.
I feel like Matt is stuck in his time warp.
Well, technically, Podnutz's birthday is you could say late February, but it's actually around March 16th. I
Really?
wanna say. If you take a look at the Wayback Machine, March the 16th is when it was just one image said Podnutz is coming, and I want to say it was around March 26th was when the first episode was released, and that was now 11 years ago.
Wow.
Do you know that the RSS feed was coded by hand when I started the network?
Really?
Oh man, and I'm not a coder, but I learned Drupal. I mean, Lalo gives me props for like innovating or whatever I did, but I just copied Leo Laporte, basically what he was doing. And I modeled everything that guy did.
Well,
And
Take the opportunity to thank Leo, the poor.
nobody creates from scratch. Everybody innovates, whether you're Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, or somebody new today that I can't stand.
It's true. There's a lot of modeling going on, as long as it's
But-
not copying.
You know, but it's cool. I have a bunch of people that reach out to me on LinkedIn, if it's recruiters or you know how LinkedIn is. But some of them are past Podnutz people, and I've got some nice comments. Hey, I watched you guys show. You know, you guys helped me, you know, XYZ to my career, and just to think that you had some, you know, at the end of the day, it's not us, right? People are hungry to succeed in life, but just to know that you had a small part in that, or just for someone to say thank you, I know that's pretty cool. Most definitely. So
Yeah.
thank you all, gents.
Thank
I
you,
just
brother.
I just threw up a comment. Mike Smith claims that he has the 15 years ago, March 6th. So we'll
Oh,
have to
nice.
see if
What's up, Mike?
see if that's correct. There.
Is that the original Mike Smith that we're talking
Yeah,
about?
it is.
From the Mike Tech Show, and then we did a Philly Tech Guy.
Right, and then we had the meetup at a guy's house in Jersey or Pennsylvania,
Yeah, that's right.
something like
Can't re-
Blade or something.
I can't remember his name.
I can't remember his name either.
I
And that was
remember
where Steve D was there. Entertaining fella.
Steve D.
Steve D. What a wild man. He was a wild man.
Mm. All right. So here's what we're going to do. The original plan for this was to try to keep it at an hour, which doesn't ever really seem to happen. But I know originally that some of you guys didn't think that you'd be on for more than 10 or 15 minutes. And look at the time.
Yeah. Welcome to Podnutz Pro.
Welcome to a rainy event. But
Well-
here's what I'm going to do. Go ahead, Dor.
And I'll say this is the earliest I've ever podcasted because my golden rule is, family first, 9 to 5 second, hobbies third, podcasting is only after everything else is satisfied because the kid's got to be in bed, the wife has to be fed, blah, 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 blah. So I made an exception for this because other people kept asking me to come out at like noon or 1 p.m. I'm like, no, not going to happen. But 8
Thank you,
p.m.,
sir.
that sweet spot is what I'm going to say.
Thank you for making the time. And I was trying to figure out a way to make it to get all of you on because I wanted to do this. I do want to say thank you for all of you being able to come on and just simply say hello, remember a little bit of the old days. And I want to go ahead and do a break here. And if you guys need to leave, that'll be a good time. But we're going to take about a 3-minute break, and then we're going to come back for part 2. And I've got other special guests popping in. So if you guys want to stay, you can. If you need to leave, thank you again for coming in. Steve, Lalo, Dor, thank you very much. And as always, the talent, Mr. Matt Rainey.
Oh, okay. Let's just call him the one who just shows up and doesn't do any of the work that all of y'all do.
You know what it is. You just kind of sit there and wait for your turn to talk. That's it.
And then we're done. I just hang up and I'm done. Y'all got a bunch of stuff to do.
Yep. So
Marvin, thank you for doing this, man. It was tons of fun. Like you bringing everybody together and just great job.
It's great seeing everybody.
Podfest Multimedia Expo 2021 July.
Got it.
There.
Do it.
All right. We should do that. And so for those of you watching live, thank you very much for watching. Please stay around after the break for part 2, where we'll have some more people come on and we'll talk about Podnutz Pro, old and new. And again, thank you to the OGs, Steve Cherubino, Lalo Nunez, the owner of Podnutz Pro, Door-to-Door Geek, Steve McLaughlin, and my previous co-host and friend, Mr. Matt Rainey. That's going to do it. And we'll see you guys in a little bit. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Podnutz Pro. We are here celebrating 300 episodes of what could be a wonderful podcast if you guys continue to let it be so. And if you are just joining us live on the broadcast here, we had in the beginning some of the old school people. The originator, Steve Cherubino, was on. We have the owner of Podnutz, Door to Door Geek, Steve McLaughlin. The talent for the show since the beginning, Matt Rainey. One of the original hosts, Lalo Nunez. And we have joining us now two other great, wonderful people, Mike Smith from the Mike Tech Show and good friend, Mr. Clean, John Dubinsky. Gentlemen, how are we doing this evening?
Hey, doing good.
Marvin, I got you 5x5 loud and clear, and I wonder why I get to be the middle one in the Brady Bunch square.
Oh, I'm sorry.
On the bottom, I'm surrounded by greatness, which is okay.
Where do you want to be? You want to be up there?
I don't think I deserve to be on top of
right
Lalo.
Next to me, baby. Next to me, huh? So I want to tell everybody again, we are celebrating the 300th show of Podnutz Pro. I'm sure that a lot of people 4 years ago didn't think the show would come back after its little hiatus, and a little convincing with Matt and of course Martin Obando, who could not be here this evening. I did reach out to him and could not get the M&M back together, but want to at least acknowledge that he was a part of the show coming back. And just sitting here chatting and having you guys tell me some old stories about the show and what you liked and all of that. So Mike, you were somebody who was around back then. You actually interjected in part one of our show about this network being 15 years old.
Yeah, no, my network. I was
Your
on
network.
Yes.
Oh.
No, I was saying, as you were talking about how many years, and I was like, I remember Steve Cherubino, as he mentioned, coming to my house, and we started a show that just we didn't have the time. It was a Philly Tech guys, and we had a couple other podcasters, and it was, a great time, starting out. That was fun.
All right. So I'm
Congratulations on 300. That's awesome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I'll never catch you. So anyway, I want to ask the question, what in the world is going on with that whole little green?
Yeah, it's a mess. I am trying. See, I'm at a bad angle. See, I need Lalo or Door or somebody here to help. My room is I'm at an angle and I'm at a shape, and I'm trying to do a green screen, but it's impossible because I got a test system here. There's a water cooler I'm trying to cover. I'm like, I want to get everything green so I can do something behind me.
And let's not forget the bathroom door that's back by there too. So
it's tough. So
I thought it was like a big green bouncy house thing.
So, I don't know what I'm doing. So on this, it's ugly. So
what you got there, Door? What is that?
Super cheap USB thing, 99-cent lights. Will help with all green screening or blue screening or whatever, just to make your background one constant color. Super cheap. Literally, like one of these will blind you. Thankfully, the camera is like doing the correct offset. Cheap, super cheap. Don't trust the big lights that cause heat. It's a complete waste of money. They're like $100.
Yep. And plus, I'm in Pennsylvania, and it's tough. I'll have an easier time when I'm in Florida because that's a much smaller room, as Marv knows. And, I don't even need a green screen. That's okay behind me. You see a TV and a bathroom door, big deal.
Yeah.
But here there's so much junk. Anyway.
All right. So before we go too far along, I told you guys I was going to be having some surprises throughout the show. And I've got a nice, wonderful new friend in the green room. I want to get her out so that everybody can say hello. Dawn Sizer from Third Element Computing is in the house. Dawn, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing good. That's a lovely background behind you.
Yeah, that's my wall. Isn't it great?
So wait a minute. You wear glasses?
I know, right? I don't usually. No one ever gets to see these, so you guys are getting like a one-of-a-kind experience. You get to see me in glasses.
So let me guess. Is it that your work day's over? This is you getting home, relaxed. You take out the contacts, let down the hair, put on the robe, or whatever that is.
Don't worry, it's only the 7 of us.
It's totally fine, right? No, this is I am on vacation. So I am like all ready to go. I've got the glasses, I've got wine, I'm all set. So I'm like, we're good to go, guys.
Sweet. Thank you for taking time out of your vacation to hang out with us. That's
where else could I possibly go?
You have family.
Yeah.
Dominski, what are you doing?
Counting the other places I could go.
Oh my goodness gracious! So
Luckily, John had no better offers for tonight.
No comment.
So John,
where else would I rather be? I mean, I'm a little bit of the opposite of Dora. This may be the latest I've ever podcasted. You know, I'm not used to looking out the window and seeing street lights, but that's okay.
That was a thing. When I reached out to John, one of the first statements I wrote is, I know it may be past your bedtime.
10 p.m.
Yeah. So let's see, John, you've obviously been a co-host on a lot of shows, but you watch a lot of these shows from afar, and being somebody who has a similar history to mine, how have you thought of the shows over the years?
Yeah, I grew up with these guys. I remember Mike. I think I discovered him on the radio show way back when with Carrie, stumbling around on that. I liked Matt first time I saw him because he was bald. I don't know what happened now, but that's okay. And Lalo was like a little magic addition during that whole thing. And I remember when the Abandos, we made the 3Ms. That was great. So, you know, I've been listening since the beginning. And I think Dora and I have exchanged emails for years now. Probably, maybe Dora twice a year. We hit each other up for something or other. Yep. So, yeah, I mean, I've been doing this on my own since 95, and I would say it seems like I've been listening since then. So, you know, it's always nice to have somebody in your ear that you can listen to, maybe when you're driving home from an epic fail at a customer site, or maybe you're driving home from a huge success at a customer site. So it works both ways.
I agree.
All right. And Dawn, I'm not going to say you came late to the party, but we've gotten you to be a guest on here in the last year. Met you through ASCAP, and I don't know how much you listen to the show. You probably don't. But in terms of being able to join us for our 300th, what have you thought about the show since you've been a part of it?
You know, it's been really interesting, and I do tune in when I can. In fact, I popped in for the Rocket Cyber one the other day. So I know Billy Austin, and he's pretty cool. And I was like, I just wanted to see what he had to say that day. So I popped in for that. And you always have interesting people on, which is kind of nice. It's not scripted, which is nice. I mean, at least the ones that I'm on aren't scripted because they go horribly sideways otherwise.
I tried the scripted thing. It just didn't work.
Too much like work.
It is. It's too much like work. And some of it too, like a lot of the ones that I have been on that are scripted, they're scripted for a reason. And that's okay, as long as, you know, their agenda needs to get met too. And I completely understand that. But it is nice too that when you start talking, when you have an organic conversation, you just kind of let it flow and go where it needs to go. And, you know, people chime in and ask questions. It's nice to be able to do that. And not a lot of people do that. And you handle it so well that, like, you would think that you had this whole thing planned and everything was working exactly the way that you anticipated it to. And I know a lot of times that it doesn't. So you do really well with it.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I learned that from Rainey.
Hey, I'll jump on that bandwagon. I know it's been a team effort to get you here, not us. Geez, get you here, Marvin, in the show. But, you know, you've been the one carrying the torch, keeping it going. So thank you very much. It's great to see that regular show in the feed.
Testify.
All right.
Yeah. So what was the show count when you took over? I don't even.
280?
It's
285?
When I took over? Just last week. So no, actually, so your last show with you and Lalo was actually show 80. And it was the Bye-Bye Small Business Server was the last show that you guys did. And of course, there was basically a 2.5-year gap. And
a pause.
And so I came back with show 81 with you and Obando as the boys are back in town.
So Bye-Bye SBS, but of course we all know it's still here, right? Because we all have SBS.
We all have a small business server somewhere. Yes.
I still have at least probably 10 or more.
Really?
They just don't want to get. Yeah, they don't want to get rid of them.
Of course not. If it ain't broke.
Right. I still have 3 clients trying to get rid of it. They won't let go.
Well, the ones that we have, I think they're all on Office 365. They just won't let us migrate to a new server. We've got the email off of it.
Right.
Yeah. How many of us have SBS servers where we're not using the Exchange component, but we can't get it completely uninstalled?
Yeah.
Once again, folks, I have another surprise that I want to throw at you. In 2018, I called him the darling of the channel. He and I have gone through the ups and downs of Freedom Voice. And tomorrow, we both get packages for winning a prize that we didn't really know existed. I am bringing into the group here Jason Miller from Unbound Digital. Jason, how are you, sir?
Doing great. How about you?
I'm doing good. You look at you wearing a green Freedom Voice shirt.
This is Under Armour. So you know.
Oh, so Jason, I wasn't sure if you were going to make it here because you had a rough week.
Man, it's been a really rough week this week. So
yeah, cops catch the guy?
Not yet. No, they have not caught the guy. They took the rock into evidence. I don't know why. Maybe they're going to get fingerprints off a rock. Who knows? But yeah, they took it into evidence, and I've heard nothing. It's been like 2 days, but I'm sure they're on the case.
They're running ballistics on that rock. Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
There'll be a Forensic Files episode about that one day.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
All right. So let's see. So Dubinsky popped in, Mike Smith popped in, Don and Jason. I don't know how much of the first hour. Did you guys watch any of the first hour? And tell me what you thought.
I was a little disappointed there was no weather reporting on the weather at everybody place, and I seem to see there's only 2 of us with sweatshirts on. So I'm going to say I'm reporting in 50 degrees from Greater Grand Rapids, Michigan. So just to fill in that void, make sure nobody is that disappointed.
I apologize. I kind of thought I'm going to not do the weather report. I'm not going to do a Florida man story because we would get so lost on that.
Yeah, and you don't want to hear the weather. We're all in the South. You don't want to hear our weather. That's why we're not wearing sweatshirts.
I'm actually wearing shorts right now. That's how hot it is.
So, Mike, did I hear you were also in Pennsylvania?
Yes, I'm in Pennsylvania, and that's why I was just showing it 63. I'm in Dresher, right outside of the city of bad things happening. So
gotcha.
So
everybody's showing their temperature.
So I'm just west of Harrisburg. So I'm not too far from you.
Okay. But next week, Florida. I'll be in Oldsmar. So that's I'll be there for the month of October. So I'm looking forward to that.
All right. So it looks like the lowest was 52. Dubinsky, would you like me to send you an Amazon card for in the winter tonight?
No, just another sweatshirt, please.
Another sweatshirt. You want a man in the van on the back?
Absolutely.
Is it a white van?
Hoodie preferred, buddy. Hoodie preferred.
Is it a white what?
Is it a white van? Because,
a white van with no windows?
With no windows. It says free candy on the side.
Yeah, it doesn't say
Play
free
ice cream truck music.
Want some candy, little girl?
This went south. Anyways.
Right. If I can say, Mike from the Mike Smith, I remember I listened since episode 1. And I remember one time I wrote in an email and you read it, and this was before I even met Steve or the rest of the guys. I remember driving home and I heard it. And I said, "That is so cool. He read my email." and so
that's awesome.
It's it just is obviously good to meet you for the first time, but I mean it's it's cool to see all these good people that go around and just because the reality is a lot of us have full-time jobs, we're moms and dads, and we do this, or we did this on top of all that, right? So
So credit and kudos to everybody.
I will also say that. So, Mike, your podcast was one of the first ones that I listened to. Actually, it was you and Carrie, the tech vets.
Right.
And that I was like, oh, wait a minute. These guys why are they arguing about, this and that? And I found the Podnutz Network and some other shows and thought, you know what? These guys are doing exactly what I do. Maybe I should pay attention. And I actually wrote into the Tech Vet show. You guys read my email, and basically my email said, do you guys ever think of having a guest on? You're like, no. I was like, okay, guess I won't be on there.
There was too many egos, Look at me. I never have guests. I rarely have guests. It's like Marv's been a guest. It's very, very few. So I've been doing, but yeah. For anybody who doesn't know Tech Vets, he is the polar opposite of me. So doing support. So it's great. We both love what we do, and we love our customers, but we come at things as polar opposites, and it's great.
Yeah. Every episode I swore it was going to end in a fist fight.
Yeah. So, there was one. I said, that's it. I can't take it. And I just shut down the mic and just exited out.
Yeah.
I was like, I couldn't take it anymore.
I remember that one. Yeah.
And that next show was the most anticipated in terms of people wanting to hear what was going to happen.
I was wondering, is this like wrestling where it's like fake and stage? And
it's funny. People, I got a lot of sympathy for that, and I got emails that would say, how do you stand Carrie? What do you do? And I was like, you know what? I enjoy that because it's so different than what I do, and I'm always by myself, and it's like, it's fun, so we got along, we get along a lot better now. So it's great. But we still go at it. So.
Yeah. All right. And Jason, so I've brought you on a couple of times and had you as a guest. You're pretty popular now. Most part, ubiquity guy, freedom voice guy, doing a lot of things that a lot of us really wanted to do. You're the epitome of why Podnutz Pro exists, to help, people support businesses and do enterprise type stuff. So how are things going for you? And
Yeah, going great. I mean, that sounds like you're building me up, and I'm not that guy, So, anyways, just out to help people out in the community. So, don't take all that credit, but yeah, everything's going great. Staying busy for sure. Phone installs like crazy, killing our guys. We had seven guys go install a phone system Saturday, 7 techs and 145 phones. Went horribly. Yeah, we didn't manage the network. They had some watch guards. I know Rainey's a watch guard guy, but the IT guy there doesn't know watch guard very well. That manages the network, and had to bring our network engineer guy in to kind of clean up some SIP ALG and some other stuff and weird funky rules. He had like 60 rules. We had no clue what was going on. So, some craziness going on there. We got through it, 6 locations, and I don't know, it went really a lot better than expected. I expected, 8 to midnight, but we got done about 3 in the afternoon. So that wasn't too bad.
All right. So, that quote I was working on, the 175?
Yeah. Did you get that?
No.
Oh man.
No, they're staying with the vendor. The difference was like $200, and they're like,
you could have done that. You could have done that for sure.
Yeah.
Did you talk to Dominique and get her to give you some good pricing?
I thought about it, but it's phones, it's SD-WAN, 7 locations. It was a lot of work. So I'm like, you know what? If you don't want to switch, don't switch. I'm going to get paid either way. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this phone system we did, they were able to get us pricing that was, I don't know, $15 less than the price we normally sell it at. So, I mean, per phone. So, I mean, it's a huge discount. I mean, we were going up against a Ring Central, system, and we won out over that. So, I mean, definitely hit them up on pricing. Your vendors are help you out for sure. So
that's true. That is true. And Don, you should let your hubby know that I am testing out. Well, okay, so I'm not doing it exclusively, but I am testing out an Accent backup server.
Nice.
So
he's actually watching, so he heard you.
All right. So we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm also testing out a Servosity box as well. So didn't think I'd be doing any until the end of the year, but thought I should get it out the way.
Yep, you might as well while you have the time, right?
Yeah, I thought I had the time.
You just got to jump in and do that stuff, right?
Just got to sometimes, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So who's got questions for Lalo? Lalo, I know that, you got to ask us, how things are going and what's going on. You told us a little bit about your life, but, since you left the show and kind of rode off into the sunset there, how's life been tech-wise? And, are you keeping up with podcasts? What's going on?
Yeah, I listen to, as Doris said a little bit earlier, there's just so many podcasts that you're like, man, there's not enough hours in a day to listen to all of them, right? Shortly after Podnutz Pro, I decided to go down the Cisco path. So I got my CCNP route switch, CCNP collaboration. It used to be called Voice. So I do Cisco Call Manager, call centers, and whatnot. So I've been doing that for a long time, and I have my heart's in voice. It's some people, when I tell them I'm a voice engineer, they're like, ugh, that sucks. No, it's actually pretty cool. I mean, all the different moving pieces. So, and for the last past 10 years, I've just been going after certifications. The mountain is to get the CCIE collaboration, for those who know what that is. On a Monday, I start a new career. I cannot say what or when at this time, but I do have like a website, lalonunez.com, or if you follow me on Twitter, it's collab lalo. When I make the announcement, when I'm allowed to, I'll put it on there, but it does involve voice. But I'll be taking my passion and going to a new avenue with it. But technology is a beautiful thing, right? Because for many of us, like my father always worked in a hot factory, right? He worked 18-hour days, backbreaking work. And if there's no AC, I can't work, right? Because there's no equipment to power on. And, a lot of times we get asked questions. I used to have this old VP that I would report to, and he was sipping his coffee one day, and he's like, "Do you know why I pay you?" And I said, "No." He goes, "Because you know the answers to the questions that I don't know," or vice versa, right? But it always boggled me how you would take your car to a mechanic, and they say, it's this and this and this, and it'll be $1,000. But you take your services and you go to a business and you go, "That's how much?" Yeah, because I can fit it in about 30 minutes, right? That always boggled my mind. But I've always been in love with technology. I mean, it's just fascinating, and the beauty of it, if you want to go down networking, voice, programming, scripting, automation, the umbrella is so huge that anyone
and it's only getting bigger.
And it's only getting bigger. I mean, just look at AI, and so I always encourage people to learn because like right now, God, I'm 41, going on 42. I tell myself there's an 18-year-old somewhere right now who wants my job, and they want it really bad, right? So that's why you always got to stay ahead of the game. But yeah, besides being a family man and trying to be a good husband and a good father, just trying to stay ahead of technology. So sorry, long number short, that's what I've been up to. So.
Quite all right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm putting a bookmark so I can find out what's going to be going on. And now I want to know what you're going to do.
Oh yeah.
Right, you have to,
We're Marvin, you're 1 week too early on this.
Maybe I had this 1 week after. I could have.
There were a lot of moons and stars that I had to align to make this work, with National Podcasters Day, 300, getting the Godfather to come out of hiding. I mean, come on now. I had to find Lalo. I mean,
well, and I just gotta say, Lalo spoke on one of my true beliefs, and I can only say this because I'm old, about computing and technology in general. Every year, careers titles come out of nowhere. It is a never stopping of expansion of job titles. The example I use is 20 years ago, we had webmaster. The webmaster actually today, if you would take a look at what they did 30 people's jobs. Where today, everything is so specialized, and where I always say, shoot for the niche. You know what I mean? No matter what you want to be a specialist in that. It's good to know other people and know some about other topics, but if you can become that expert, that SME on that one niche that's newer, sky's the limit. And it never stops. You know, every 3 to 5 years, you got to stop, replant, look around, and decide where do you want to go.
Absolutely.
Well, it also goes to the fact that, like Lalo said, there's always somebody behind us wanting our job, and our clients are always looking for other answers.
Mm-hmm.
So every time they ask you for a solution,
Yes,
they know that they can go to Google, or they know that they can find somebody else who says that, you know, well, you don't have to do it that way, you can do it this way, or it doesn't have to cost that much, it can cost this much. And trying to compare apples to apples, oranges to oranges all the time. I mean, these quotes that I, got approved today, some of them were 2 weeks in the making. Just to, even though I've been their guy for so many years, it's almost like, what did I have? I had, so this one attorney who never sees the invoices, never pays attention to anything, but all of a sudden wants to pay attention. And when the internet company gave them a renewal quote, and they actually had to lower their cost $2,000 to get the gig, his concept was, oh, so you've been overcharging us all this time. Just like, do you not realize that they're losing money on you just to hope to get that back down the road?
Yeah, and
always something.
And the IT field is one of these fields where, it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, wherever your background is. If you can support the technology and help the business grow, I mean, they're all for it. Like when I used to be in a manager role or a supervisor role, I had folks twice my age that were reporting to me. And like the beauty is, it's truly, is if you can support the technology, one, if you know it, but two, if you're a people person, there's nothing better than you go inside a conference room with VIPs and say, okay, can you tell me why I need to spend $1.2 million on a system? And then you do a PowerPoint presentation. They go, okay, where do I sign? Bingo. That is the beauty of it. And that's another thing. I always love what I do. You get vendors who give you a demo appliance, let it be a firewall or a router or SD-WAN device. And then, you lab it up, you do a bake off, and then the business goes, so what do you think we should do? And I say, well, I like this vendor because ABC. Okay, great. Let's go spend $1.8 million. And you're like, pretty cool, right? Right. Like the fact that, we get trusted with the technology to do what's best for that business. And when you gain that trust and you have that trust, if it's from your direct manager or for many of you from one of your clients, it's just a beautiful thing to have that rapport because, they're trusting you with their business, like their livelihood. And I've seen some technology implemented pretty bad and it's, it really hurts them in every aspect. So there's a difference between being a technician or an engineer, administrator, wherever your title is, fill in the blank, and being a great technician or wherever you are.
All right. So I do know that we're going to lose one of our guests here, and I just want to make this opportunity to allow him to say goodbye. Dor, thank you for being on. Again, you were somebody who wasn't sure how long you'd be here, but I wanted to thank you for coming on. And actually, I need to thank you more for allowing me to do this show and get away with some of the faux pas of podcasting that I get away with. And you allow me to do the show, to give me a lot of leeway. And I want to thank you for that. And hopefully you'll allow me to do this for, I don't know, another 100 shows.
What I always say, like Steve is the father of the network. I'm just a dad kind of thing. As far as I'm concerned, Lalo and Matt are the fathers of the show. You're the dad. I'm the next door neighbor kind of thing. I'll tell you if your grass needs to be cut, but otherwise you have nothing to worry about. And I'll say consistently from the beginning, I've been privy to the numbers. This has been among the top rated Podnutz shows, period, from beginning to end. Even with the long gap, the very first episode that came out was in the top 3 of all Podnutz shows. And it's because of all you guys. So I just, gotta just say, just keep doing what you do. And just like what I literally said, I believe on my very first Podnutz Daily episode, support those who support you. If anybody in Podnutz needs any help, just ping me. If I can help anybody, just let me know. And I hope everyone here, we all keep doing doing that with everybody that we meet every day.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. And you can go now, do your family duties, and have a good night.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Bye, Dor.
See you, Dor. Thank you again for everything.
And now another person that is probably going to be exiting soon. Lalo, you've been able to talk a lot tonight. I thank you for coming on. And good to see you and Matt back together again.
Yes, sir.
And I'll give you and Matt a couple of minutes to say any last words.
Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, so over the years, I've often wondered. I said, and when I think about Podnutz Pro, I'm like, what happened to Lalo? And life goes on. I never get to follow up or even try and find your contact information. So I'm really glad that Marvin brought you on, so I could catch up briefly. And now I'm gonna follow your website to see what's going on. But I'm glad. I remember when we were doing the show, you and Kelly were dating or engaged.
Yeah.
And I don't think y'all hadn't got married when we stopped the show. So I'm glad that all worked out. It sounds like it's doing great. Two great kids. Sounds like you're doing good at work. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And like I said, I'm the most fortunate man in the whole entire world to have my beautiful wife, my best friend, and 2 beautiful girls. But I would like to thank all of you for everything that you do, because it's so critical. And and you don't know the impact that you all have on other people who are building their careers, or they could be stuck in a rut, and you help them change their careers. So Marvin, thank you for contacting me. Like I said, when I saw your message via LinkedIn, it just brought back all these great memories, because all you are very great people. So again, thank you for having me on, and God bless your families, and we'll talk soon.
And one more shout out. Remember, the saviors of Podnutz Pro are Lalo and then Marvin. Without them two, this would be ended a long time ago.
Don't forget the talent, Matt Rainey.
Yeah.
That's a small part of it, but what y'all did really carried it on.
It was all a team effort, absolutely.
Yep.
All right, Lalo, we'll be in touch. We'll be obviously following your websites to see what this classified job is you're going to be starting here. So LaloNunez.com, and the other one, Collab, you'll need to put that in the private chat for me, so I can put that in the show notes and get that out to people. All right. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good one. Bye.
All right.
I want to say, John, it's good. I haven't seen you since the last
MSP
conference.
or TechCon.
Yeah.
TechCon, yeah.
Yeah, every time I eat a donut, buddy, believe me, I think of you.
I'm glad.
Do you think
on Facebook, but Paco LeBron was up here in Grand Rapids, and we went over to Brodo's, and I think he hit you up with something on Facebook or something, and you came back, and so yeah, it's the little things. I mean, it's part of that what we call Podnutz family or whatever you want to say. So yeah, good times.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to going up there hopefully next year.
Hopefully.
I mean, for the conference too, but really for the donuts.
Yeah, you're the donut man.
And see me, I totally understand.
I can go with you.
And the boardwalk subs too. Those boardwalk subs were awesome too.
Well, I mean, there's a little bit of news there. The MSP Unplugged show is kind of reloading. I would say it's going to change from Sundays to Friday afternoons.
Yeah, take the Friday slots.
Yeah, and then I know that Jeff and Paco are working hard, and I know there is a plan to have the TechCon next year. So, and all that's going to be coming out soon.
Still planning for Grand Rapids, right?
I can't answer that. I haven't been privy. Marvin, you made a big mistake earlier in the show. You said I'm a podcaster. You forget the guys just keep me around because I'm the only one that'll take show notes. So, I mean, that's how I'm involved with the MSP Unplugged, podcast and all that. So,
You know me. I'm trying to lift people up here.
I'm with you. But no, I mean, as soon as I know, it'll be in a show note, and then you all will know. So.
Well, they call me the talent too. So I mean, calling you, they just make up terms.
Yeah, I'm with you. I get that.
Yeah.
Well, you're not here for your looks.
I think I am
true,
because
too.
Jason's here
Are
for
you talking
his
to
look.
John?
And
Okay.
if you
Yeah,
look
I
at
have
us-
hair now. I have the hair now, so I don't
Yeah.
have to look.
I got Jason and Dawn, so that's those are my two darlings of the show now.
See,
Yeah.
you got it. We got it. Show's got to evolve, so it's got to happen.
And here's the other thing: you notice how they conspicuously did not comment to counteract what I said. See,
I thought maybe you muted them.
no, it's the little things. And of course, Mike Smith, OMG Mike, you have done very well to sit there quietly and listening and taking it all in.
Yep. No, thank you for having me. And I think this is great. It's one of the things I loved when Steve started out, because he lived very close to me, near Philadelphia. And he moved to Florida. It was funny, that I was like, that's it. We kind of like lost touch until you brought us together when I was visiting in Florida. So it was great seeing Steve. And I let him know that I'm spending a lot more time down there. So maybe I can connect with Lalo. And Steve and I already have chatted when I got my house in Florida. So I'm going to drag him back in somehow, to, maybe be on my show or do something, or maybe join us at Tech Vets or something. So that was great.
Yep, it'll be easy. You guys will not be far apart. Clearwater, Tampa.
I know.
And, I hop over. I still got 2 clients over there, so should be good.
It's great. So it's a lot of fun. So I'm the old guy for those that don't know me. So I turn 60 next month. So I'm now transitioning, or at least starting to transition my consulting business to my oldest son. So he's the one now out there in the trenches and doing stuff. But I got to stay in touch, or I'm not going to have any more stories. So that's the thing, as I kind of wind down. So I intend on spending more time in Florida, than here. So I'm looking forward to it. And thanks for having me on tonight.
All right.
Hey, Mike. So your place was okay for all that last storms that went through?
Where
I guess that was more Pensacola area and Tampa area.
Pensacola. So yeah, now I'm heading down next week. I haven't been down there in September. So, but I do have someone that looks on the place. Yeah. But luckily everything's good. So I'm going down there next week, and then staying for a month, coming back, then going back a little bit in November. But I'll tell you, when I go down at the end of December, I'm there until after Easter. I intend to do that at least every year. Then I'm going to be what they call the typical snowbird. So when it gets cold up here, that's it. My wife and I, Florida, that's it.
I'll also be going down to Florida next week. So.
Oh, where at?
We're going to Universal Studios, taking the family, kids, and then our niece and nephew is going. I already have a plan to run by the Voodoo Donuts. Thinking of Matt Rainey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so on the boardwalk.
That's in Universal. It's in Universal Studios, right?
Yeah, it's like on the City Walk or whatever it's called. Yeah.
Have you been to Voodoo Donuts before?
Oh yeah, we went there a few years ago with the family and stuff. But our niece and nephew don't get to get out of town very much. This will be their first flight. So, and of course they're 18 and 15. So, bringing them with us to kind of go run around and hang out. So, it'd be kind of fun to take 6 people and go to Universal for a little bit. So,
well, here's a tip: don't do what I did last time I went to Voodoo.
Oh.
We bought a dozen. We bought a dozen. Those things are big.
Yeah, they are.
We bought a dozen in the box and had a few loose ones. And we were going somewhere. We were on vacation, so I couldn't save them. So wherever we were going, we tried to eat them all. I thought I was going to throw up. I ate so many donuts.
Those donuts are huge. I mean, they're
Yeah.
big.
So I can imagine that Universal Studios doing that and then going on rides. Luckily, I was just walking around.
No, you get those on the way out for the hotel room. So not on the way in. You want to be able to do the rides. So,
If they're still there.
yeah.
So, Jason, another vacation, huh? So, is this in lieu of the San Diego trip, or?
Well, you know, we really wanted to go to San Diego, hang out with Marv, and I guess do Universal in San Diego is what we're supposed to do, right? VIP tour.
Do that, and supposed to visit the Star Wars thing that they have out there.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't guess we get to do that now, so they kind of
wait.
I guess
isn't that trip that y'all won? Y'all aren't going there?
No, they canceled it. They said due to the COVID, so they kind of canceled the VIP tour. So me and Marv actually won back in January, and it was only us two that even entered. So we're the only two that put in an entry, and so they draw four names. So there's only two people, so we both won. And then yeah, well, you had to refer.
I didn't even know I was in.
Yeah, and I didn't have to know I was in. I mean, the deal was you had to give a referral for somebody on the West Coast to sell Freedom Voice, and somehow through Facebook I give somebody a referral. They talk to my rep, and he's like, "Okay, you're entered, cool." So and so we won the trip, and then Marvin apparently didn't even know he got somebody referred, but they said his name and he got referred, and here we both are. We won the trip, expecting to go hang out together, and so they decided hey, there's only two people instead of four. So they bring, one person plus their significant other or whoever they want to bring. And so since there's only two people, they're like, well, just wait till October. And then, the other four, they do 2 trips a year. So when the other 4 people got chosen for the next contest, then us two were going to go with them and have 6 total people plus their, secondary spouses or whatever, other people come with them. And then,
secondary spouse.
I don't know, secondary person, spouse, whatever, so I don't want to say spouse because some of the people bring like another tech, they bring, I've seen one of them bring their kid. So I mean, stuff like that when I've been out there on the trips, but so I didn't want to say just spouse only, but, either way, so we're all 6 supposed to go. And then, I guess COVID happened and they said, hey, we're not even working in our offices. Everybody's working from home. So we don't want to do this. And two, I think California is a little harder hit. So, so they sent us a little prize pack that we're supposed to get, I guess, tomorrow, maybe if you're FedEx. I saw that ship FedEx. I was kind of wondering if you get it.
Good luck with that.
2 days.
So now we need to know what's going to be in that prize pack. That's going to be as good as a trip to Universal Studios.
Well, they've already told us, but I'm not sure.
Donuts.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a buy one, get one 50% off coupon.
There you go.
Or maybe Jelly the Month Club.
It's a box of Voodoo Donuts. I mean, what else could you be?
Oh, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm going to wait until I actually see the package before I acknowledge the prize. So.
Yeah. Did you get your email with the other thing yet?
I did.
Okay, I got that part, but I haven't got the rest of it. So we'll see tomorrow.
Yeah.
So sounds very,
We're gonna have an unboxing podcast. So
yeah.
Hey, there we go.
That's a good idea.
We can do that. Well, yeah.
Do it. Yeah. Jump on Facebook
We got
Live.
the same thing because here's what I contend. Jason's box is probably going to be twice as big as my box, and I'm going to be upset. So we should probably do that. So don't open your box until we talk.
Yeah, no, I don't know that.
Boxes are bigger than others.
What was that, Don?
I said some boxes are bigger than others, just naturally.
You never know.
So the first thing you do when you get it is weigh it. Don't open it, just weigh it. That's the first thing.
Okay.
And then the dimensions, right? And then the dimensions, height.
Yep, we can do that.
There we go.
All right, so we'll plan on that.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you probably need to run that by Rachel first. So you talk to her, let me know. I'll run it by Kim. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, if it shows up at the office, I mean, it's already going to be open before I even get it. Right. What are you talking about? So, I mean,
Hey, Don, we know what Matt drinks. What are you drinking? Is that like a $2 Chuck or something good?
It's pretty much $2 Chuck tonight. I'm usually a red wine drinker, but I had stuff in the refrigerator, and I'm not a monster. I wasn't going to let it go bad, so,
Amen.
Yeah.
So, John, what is it you think that I drink?
That one drink I can never pronounce when you ask me, Disarnio something in the fancy bottle that you pay way too much for just to collect.
Disaronno, come on.
Disaronno.
Disaronno, but I've actually switched. So I still like that. I just don't drink it as much. I switched.
No, don't tell me. Let me.
Okay.
Are you turning into a bourbon guy?
Yep.
I was going to say it has to be a bourbon. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have you not?
And what's the difference between bourbon and whiskey?
Boy, it's technical, right? So
he doesn't watch enough episodes.
No, the only difference, well, there's a few differences. Bourbon, all bourbons are whiskeys, but not all whiskeys are bourbon. So bourbon has to be in a new container, new charred container. Can't be a used container. New charred container. It's got to be made in the United States.
One more.
No, there's more. It can't be distilled more than 160 proof. Can't go on the barrel at more than 125 proof. Can't be bottled at less than 80 proof.
And
51% corn.
At least 51% corn. Right. That's it. Can't add anything. Oh, you can't add anything to it, right? You can't add anything. All it can contain is you can't add any additives or coloring or anything.
Don, is he correct?
Yes, he is. I'm a Scotch drinker, so.
Okay.
I was going to say we should have a show with the two of you. We should talk about bourbon, whiskey, and Scotch.
Well, don't leave out gin.
I don't think any of us are.
I'm a gin guy. I like gin. Yeah.
All right. Maybe we'll have. We'll do
the Scotch. I know that different regions taste different, and I don't like the real peaty ones. I know there's some regions that have that less of that peaty taste.
When we were on for date night, we were drinking Highland Park Valkyrie, which has it's a slight spice undertone to it. So it's really, really good. So if you like your bourbon, you would probably like that one.
What's the name of that one again?
Write it down.
Highland Park Valkyrie.
All right. I'll check on that one. Got it.
All right. I'm going to head off, guys. So have a fantastic time for the rest of the time that's here. Congratulations on your 300th episode. And thank you so much for inviting me to come out and celebrate with you.
Well, thank you for showing up on your vacation, and tell your family thank you for allowing us to take some of your time.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Night, guys.
Night.
Bye, Dave. All right. Let's see here. All right. So all the adults are gone. So what do you want to talk about?
Really?
Yeah, really? Yeah, really, Mr. Past Your Bedtime. That's a little wild.
I'm running out of steam. I should have made myself a gin drink of some kind.
So are y'all mainly working from home, or y'all going to the office? Well, I know, John, I guess you work from home anyway, right?
I do. But I would say definitely my office visits have not picked up since COVID. I mean, business is still the same, but I do not make as many office visits.
Wow.
Maybe, I mean, I'm not complaining.
I don't make many office visits either.
Yeah, we're totally
the only real main office visits we've been doing is either, bringing on new clients, bringing on new dental offices and that sort of thing, just to ramp them up, and then we stay out of there as much as we can.
To me, that's what children are for. My oldest son, I sent him out into the trenches. I have not visited a client in months and months and months. So I'm 100% working from right here, or when I'm in Florida. So, and I got to stop getting injured. So that's the real. I literally have a broken shoulder here. I already arranged for physical therapy right near Tampa starting next week, 3 times a week.
I was going to say, we didn't ask you about that. I know that you were going for the MRI, and I don't think I've heard an update since then. Except
MRI, no, they were thinking of a torn rotator cuff, and it's not. So I just have a broken bone, and it's more of a crack in the center here, and I don't need any surgery. And that was the big thing. I really thought I was going to have surgery. So that's when I was like, all right, since my wife can work from home and my middle son can work from home because they can just take their laptops and work. You know, I can't say what they work for the government anyway, but what they can do is work. So we're going to go down to Florida for the month and we'll all work, you know? So Marv, you've seen the place. So
Yes.
my wife will be on the dining room table because this is only like 13, almost 1,400 square feet. So my office, I got my own office. My wife will be at the dining room table and my son will be in the bedroom, you know, working remotely.
That front room, is that going to be finished?
It is finished.
It is finished?
Yeah, completely finished. So we're going to have a little reunion down there for Thanksgiving week, which is nice. We have this one. It was a 2-bedroom place, but we added a third because it was such a massive front living room that we converted to a bedroom. So in there is a queen bed, regular bed, a bunk bed that is a twin over a full. So it sticks out a little, so you can even put an adult. We have 2 cots that can end up, and then now, Marv, we have a sofa bed that pulls out right when you come in there at the door. So in this little place, we at Thanksgiving, we're going to put 7 more people besides Dorothy, my wife and I.
Sounds like a hostel.
It is.
Yeah.
It should be a cabin by the lake, is what it
Yeah,
should be.
but two of them are small. The grandkids, you know, they're little, so you can stick them anywhere, you know. But it's gonna be fun. So I talked to everybody. I said, look, let's go down there for a month. I'll get my physical therapy, you know, and then you know, take it from there. So
See, with our COVID and stuff, it's been kind of not that bad here. I mean, still a lot of cases, but we basically come home when it first happened, worked at home for 1 month, and then we've been back in full swing. Everybody's at the office. We're still doing office visits. I mean, we did office visits even during the month that we were home. We tried to limit it, but we still have a motto to, you know, remote first and then on site if we need to. But I mean, we got techs running in and out the doors all day. I mean, it's, you know, we still mask up, glove up, all that good stuff. You know, with our techs, we have plenty of PPE there. So lots of hand sanitizer in their cars, stuff like that to protect ourselves. But it seems like more and more, like especially this past week, I went for a meeting today with a client and we're sitting in their conference room. I walked in with a mask on, you know, in their company, and there were 8 other people in this conference room, no mask. And I'm sitting there thinking, And they're like, oh, just take your mask off. We don't care. Just don't cough on me. And I'm like, you know, what's the point? You know, so I mean, people are, and even my wife went to the store the other day just to pick up a few things for a trip. And, you know, we're walking through the stores and just no one has a mask on anymore. And I mean, it's still a mandate to have the mask in our county. So, you know, it's one of those things, but I mean, we're going like crazy and, you know, out to clients and still running the roads. I mean, it's not really slowed down. I mean, we're still staying super busy and, like I said, trying to cut back on service calls a little bit, but it doesn't seem like anybody really cares or wants us to. So it's kind of one of those, I guess, client driven things. So.
Yeah. So of course, you know, Florida still at the top, and even today, you know, we still led the nation in deaths, new deaths related to COVID, and still not as high in new cases. But, you know, I don't know if you guys know, but our governor finally said, look, we're opening up restaurants back to 100% no mask.
that scares me heading down there.
Yeah, I heard that.
We're not going to go in any restaurants. That's it because of that. So we'll like get takeout or delivery or, you know, and even then I'm going to be careful. So
Yeah.
But even then, you don't know who's preparing the food and what method they're preparing it.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, we still do a lot of takeout, and we've eaten in a restaurant maybe once a week or something like that. But, you know, lunch, dinner, any of that stuff, if we're going out, usually it's, you know, picking it up and going home. So, I mean, we don't really, still trying to be cautious, but I mean, our total case count in our county is only 223 or something like that. So, you know, out of 125,000 people or something. So it's not terrible, but it's not great either. So.
See, I always wonder those people who don't have in house where they don't let people come in and eat. There's no customers in there.
Mm-hmm.
So who's watching the employees to see if they're wearing mask and gear while they're making your food? Because there's nobody watching them.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, picking up food, I haven't picked up food I think I've done it once or twice since March, or I think we went to a restaurant once. And when we went, we were literally the only ones that we could even see in the restaurant. There was nobody else even in the same room as us. But that's all I've done. I haven't done any of that.
So is the areas you all are in, is there like lots and lots of cases? And
No, there's not. I mean, one of my techs told me today he might have it.
no, that's really good. It's like, stay home, please.
Yeah, he's staying home, but he was out of the country. He just came back, and then he started feeling bad. And then apparently, other people on the trip came back tested positive. So I'm sure he has. I'm sure he's got it.
Yeah.
So it's one of my on-site techs down for a few weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
You'll
that's
roll
what I
out,
worry
right,
about.
Matt? We'll take over. You'll pick up that, right?
I will
Well,
pick it
that's
up. I will pick it up in the manner that I will just reschedule everybody. So yeah.
And Dubinsky's, you guys were a hot spot for a while, but you've like plummeted in cases and stuff, right?
I can't explain that. I would suggest over here we're pretty much the opposite of Jason. Everywhere I go, everybody's pretty masked up. So I mean, I'm wearing mine, whether I have to or not. I wear it at the gym, so, and that's a pain in the butt. So
Yeah, I wear mine everywhere we go too, but there's a lot of people that don't believe in it, I guess, anymore. So I think they're like over it or something. I mean, it seems like just the past few weeks it's gotten really bad. So
I went on a road trip with one of my buddies, and we were in the UP in northern Michigan, and we went into a restaurant there, and like we walked in, and we were like the only two people, and the place was like packed, elbow to elbow. You know, like the olden days when you're around the bar, and like there's, you know, you can't help but touch the person next to you. We just left. So and it's not. I'm not. You know, I don't need a gin and tonic that bad.
yeah, well, we went down to Jamaica for our 15-year anniversary here a little while back, and the plane ride down, it was pretty, you know, spaced apart. Kind of freaked me out a little bit. Had my mask on, sanitizer, all that stuff. You know, being really careful. That's back in July. So then we, you know, on the way back though, and of course to get into the country, I mean, they had lines of people, and they temperature screen you and all kinds of other stuff, and ask you all kinds of questions. I mean, it was an ordeal to get through the, you know, customs there. So on the way back though, it's like the plane was packed. You know, every seat was full. I mean, three seats to a row, you know, to your side. And, you know, there's a guy sitting right beside me. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this, you know? So, I mean, you know, that's like, if I get COVID, it's definitely on this plane, you know? So that's the thing that worries me more than anything is, I mean, they just pack you in there, and, you know, I don't even want to go to Walmart or, you know, those other stores, you know, it's like, forget that, you know? It's like I just
Mike,
ordered
how's
on
it been for you
Amazon.
flying back and forth to Florida?
Well, we're driving down now, but Florida, you're right. When I did Southwest back in June, when we were closing on the house, and I went down for inspection, Southwest still had every middle seat unsold. So, and that's my wife and I, and we had to have masks and everything. But one of my other trips, I didn't like it. Like Jason, it was American Airlines, and we were jammed. We were jammed up. And
Same airline for me. So.
Even if it's spaced out, though, the air is recirculating in that little bitty plane.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They had some news article that's talking about that, and supposedly it may not be the same on every plane, but supposedly they have, you know, massive HEPA filters and filtration and all this stuff. But, you know, who knows if they actually change the filter or have one in there at all? So you don't know.
And I'm like the one wiping down the seatbelt before I put it on, and I got my little zip bag of alcohol wipes, you know, and we're hitting everything. So I'm very nervous because I got pre-existing stuff going on. So
just like this,
be careful.
They're supposed to change the pillowcases and blankets after every flight. They've never done that. They're not changing those filters. Probably the guy who's, you know, was I supposed to do that, or was that him, or that guy's off this week? Oh well, whatever. You know.
That's why I'd rather drive down when we get the chance, and I have the drivers. You know, that's gonna. You know, it's making it a little easier. So
when do you get pillowcases and blankets? I haven't seen that in years.
Yeah, you know, but one of them is
you're gonna have Matt Rainey money to fly, you know, first class to get that.
Come on, that's first class, buddy. You know
yeah. Oh yeah, I don't fly first class. Forget that. You know.
Well,
I get the Matt Rainey money.
There's first class, but there's also a level above that. So
I can't tell you about that one. But one of the reasons they got rid of the pillows and blankets is because they were so bad, because they know it was never cleaned or changed, and those airlines got big fines when they weren't changed when they were supposed to be changed.
They got rid of beverages. Now you get like a little doggy bag. It's got a little water and a little, some kind of peanuts or cracker or something, and that's it. They don't visit you. I thought this was so funny. I had never, the first time flying Southwest during the COVID, they gave you a warm can of water. I'm not kidding. And a straw. And that was it.
That's really satisfying on the plane. Yeah.
Cans of water. Every can of water I've ever tasted is nasty. I mean, when we were Hurricane Katrina, we went down for like some relief efforts, and when we went down there, Anheuser-Busch had pallets of water sitting there, and had their logo on it and stuff like that, and it was the nastiest tasting water I've ever drank in my life. So,
you came down to New Orleans for Katrina? What were you doing?
Gulfport, Mississippi. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah, we come down with our church group, and we built decks and we did stuff at churches, and then we went to people's houses and cleaned up stuff. And as high school and middle school students, we actually slept in outbuildings, like a yard barn, wherever you want to call them, a shed. They had an air conditioner and bunk beds and these things that they've all made and stuff. So yeah, that's been a minute ago. So
it was a while. I've been to Gulfport many times. Yep.
Yeah, but that was a fun trip. But it was it's kind of sad to see all the destruction. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah. Well,
hey, y'all, I got to take off. I just want to say it's been a pleasure and an honor to be chatting with you guys. And Marvin, happy 300. This is Sparta. Carry on, buddy.
All right.
Good seeing you, John, man.
Yeah, good to see you, man.
Guys. Thanks, everybody.
You catch up on the sleep that you missed by being on the show.
No doubt. Snoozing tomorrow. See you.
All right.
See,
right now you can see my Freedom Voice phone right there now.
Oh, there it is.
Oh. I've got to be at work at 8, which means I got to get up by 7:55.
7:55. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Wow. That sounds like my commute.
Yeah. Well, I need time to brush my teeth and then walk into my office from the bedroom. So.
Oh, I still got to drive. Sorry.
No, I just have to walk 20, 30 feet. And then technically I'm at work.
All right. Well, is that your hint that you got to go? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, no, I'm good. I'm just saying. I don't have. I can sleep late because over here for the schools, they go every other day. Mm-hmm. And my daughter doesn't go tomorrow. So normally I have to wake up at 5:30, get her to school. But tomorrow I don't have to.
Yeah. See, next week when I'm coming down to Florida, it's our fall break is why we're going during that time, because our kids are 3rd and 5th grade. So we're going during fall break, and then after fall break, they're back 100% in school, every kid, all week. So
how do you have a fall break this early? School just started a month ago, didn't it?
It started at the beginning of August. So they're actually finishing up the first semester or period or whatever you want to call it.
So we didn't start school over here until after Labor Day.
Yeah,
Yeah, we thought they were going to push it back due to the COVID stuff, and they couldn't decide whether they were going all virtual and all that good stuff. But my wife's now a teacher, and she's not smarter than a 5th grader. She posted the other day, so she's been doing their homework with them, and basically, she works full time for us, but she's literally spending over half of her day, not doing her job and helping our 2 kids do Google Meets and do their homework, and I mean, it's just insane. So I mean, they're
100% virtual.
For right now, until after fall break, until after next week, and then they go back full time. So I mean, it's just jump right in. And they were actually supposed to go to school this past 2 weeks, like a AABB schedule. So kids on A go Monday, Tuesday, kids on B go Thursday, Friday. Wednesday's virtual for them to clean the class, clean everything before the next set of students come in. But basically, right when we were supposed to start back, our 3rd grader could have went, but the 5th grade teachers all got COVID. So they sent them all home, sent the whole 5th grade home, said 5th grade's canceled. They're not coming to school. So I was like, we're getting ready to go on a trip. We don't want to get the COVID and not be able to go. So we said, we're just going to keep them out till after fall break. That way, we can enjoy our trip with, our extended family and stuff like that, and not have to worry about, contracting the COVID. So.
Yeah, maybe in Florida.
Yeah, I kind of worry about that a little bit. So, yeah.
Fall break. Everyone's going to be going to the parks.
Well, they limit it to 25% capacity, so I'm hoping it's kind of really sparse. So,
you already bought tickets. You already reserved your days. Okay.
Yep.
It'll be sparse because they're also laying off 28,000 employees.
Well, that was the other parks, Disney.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Hey, real quick, Florida, we got a notification because we're in Oldsmar, which is very close to Tampa. Pinellas County, that is, which is Clearwater and that area. They said they're not listening to the governor, and it's still all of the percentages are in place, and they're going against the governor. And I'm like, that's a little thing makes me feel a little better where we're going. So it's still,
Pinellas County's good. They only had 52 new cases and 1 death today.
That's so sad, and that was good. That's
Well, compared to South Florida, where Miami-Dade still leads the charge. And,
but a lot of this stuff is higher count because it affects the older population more, and the older population moves to Florida.
Hello,
I mean, when
my tech show, that's it. It's like
when the older people get older, they move down to Del Boca Vista, and that's just
well, all the clients, all my rich clients, they're in Boca Raton, so that's where they go. So when they sell their business and you can go down there, I have a few clients still remote where they sold their businesses or they retiring, and I like now just pick them up with a little bit of work remotely, support. They're all in Boca.
Yep, that's 20 minutes from me.
Yeah, so it's going to make sense that it's a high rate because of the older population.
Yep.
Well,
So
that in Florida, man.
Yeah.
So we've had a few. I don't know if you've seen the stories, but we've had several where they basically, protested, claiming that coronavirus was, false and blah blah blah, but then contracted it, and 2 died. That there have actually been documented stories where, they were the people that were spouting off about masks and all of that stuff, and then contracted and died. And it's funny because I've now had 5 employees at clients that contracted it.
Ooh.
And none of them have been sick, where they've had to go into the hospital and stay and got really serious. But it was, we went for several months with no reports, and then all within the last month, 5.
Wow. Yeah, we have one manufacturer that manufactures hot tubs and saunas, tanning beds, all this stuff, and they've got probably about 300 workers working in a manufacturing plant at 2 locations, and they keep having cases over and over again. So they're one of our clients that we're like, you get remote only, and then they've had so many infections there, like 13 at a time, back in one department, got it, and stuff like that. So they were paying this third-party company to come in, and they have these little fog machines that they, basically sanitize everything with, and they'll sanitize down the whole building. Well, they kept having them come in so much, they just bought their own machines. So they sanitize their own building like once or twice a week now, just to kind of prevent things. But or especially if somebody has a case of it. So that's one of our clients that we just do remote only. We don't go out there. So it's like,
you need to tell them that they need to stop testing the hot tubs by getting in groups. That'll slow the case down.
Well,
if it's super hot water, that should kill it.
Yeah, it's got was it chlorine in it? So I mean, but yeah, they ship them all over the country. I kind of wondered, I was like, how long does that stuff live on a hot tub? I mean, they literally ship thousands of these things a week all over the country. So
yeah, my medical office got a couple of those machines where they do it themselves now.
Mm-hmm.
So even Ryobi got into the business. I don't know when they got in, but they, the little Ryobi machines, they look like the blowers, the air blowers.
Mhm.
They're actually a little bigger with the where you can put the chemicals in and do the sanitizing.
I have a question, Marv. Have you been tested?
I have not.
Yeah, when I was in the emergency room, when I fell and broke my shoulder, and I had to go by myself, like no one could come with me, you know. And I go in, and they asked me all the questions and everything, and I thought for sure like they're going to give me some kind of a test or something. They said no, we're not even allowed, and I was like, oh my god, they didn't even. This is a hospital. We don't even have tests to do.
Yeah, Florida. I mean, you've heard the story. It is. There are patches where tests just aren't available, and everybody has their own policy. So my wife has been tested twice.
Okay.
And I don't know if you remember, she was in the hospital right as COVID started, and she's had to go back for follow-ups. So she's had to do the temperature many times, but she's actually been tested twice.
Oh,
I was afraid she would have to get tested again when she flew to Ohio 10 days ago, and I thought she was going to have to, but she's basically passed twice, so I basically don't really go anywhere.
Right,
So,
that's big. But I'll do like my son because he's out there doing things, and I know temperature is not the only thing,
right.
but I have one of those little guns, and I'm like, you come near my house, even my grandkids, and who don't come often, but when they do, they don't come in until boom, they're I'm taking their temps, So everybody's a mask until they're cleared, So that's I'm just taking a lot of very, very precautious.
So am I the only one that kind of freaks you out when those people like just have this Boys and Girls Club? We went for a meeting about networking and some other stuff that we're wiring, cabling stuff we're doing. Literally walking up to the front door, can't see through the windows. Door flings open, guy shoots a gun right in my head and pulls the trigger. It's like, whoa, hello. It's like, at least like, hi, how you doing? Any of that stuff. I've had that happen like 3 or 4 times at different businesses. It's like open door, it's like, hey, it's kind of freaks you out. It's like I don't care to have my temperature taken. It's just like say hi first, or something. Yeah. It's just like
this was cool. The orthopedic surgeon, I forget what county in Florida, where I had to go the next day after the ER. I had to get a temperature scan for the door to unlock. I thought that was cool. And they had two heights. They had 2 heights to take your temperature.
That's probably Hillsboro. It was close to Tampa?
Yeah, I think it was.
Hillsboro.
Yeah. That's because I was like, wow, you had to answer the question, sign the form. And I'm like, who's cleaning the pen? Anyway, and then I'm going, and then I had to go to the door and take your temperature. It tells you, it's like, boop, you hear the beep and you go in, and I thought, hey, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, the whole pen thing, that drives me crazy too, because, people don't clean the pens, and, you go to restaurants and like even the drive-through, we have a Japanese restaurant here, and they literally hand you the little pad with your card in it and the receipt with a pen that's got this chopstick taped to the pen so you won't take off with their 29-cent big pen, and it's like they hand you that, and it's like, man, you've handed it to like the other 50 people right in front of me, and then you want me to sign this, and it's like it's like, who signs receipts anymore on the credit cards for food? I mean, I've most places haven't done that in years, and especially the COVID, you'd think they'd back off handing you credit card pads. So
that's something that's always bothered me about in Europe. I remember when I was in Germany a few years ago, your card never left your hand.
Exactly.
They came to the table, you put it in, you put it out. I mean, you may or may not have to sign when it's 2017, but I'm like, that's nowhere's here, hardly. Anywheres that I've been to, any restaurant, it's like my card walks away. And I'm like, that, I never liked that. I will say this. Marv, the Frenchies restaurants, they have, it's a great seafood in the area of Clearwater and Dunedin, and you have a barcode on the table, and you bring up the menu on your phone. And I thought, that's cool. So you're not touching menus, That was the one thing I liked when I was down there in really the whole month of July. I wasn't scared. The businesses were incredible, social distancing. You have to have a mask. Everything's sanitizers at every table. You see when we had lunch, Marv, right? Sanitizers there. They were doing a great job in the area that I'm in. I really like that. It's the people that are insane. And that are not, and I'm just glad that they have them where, okay, you can't come in unless you have it. So,
well, what made it simple was because we were having so many idiots, causing scenes and stuff, the businesses finally got together and said, we are going to implement policies, and it started with the big Home Depot and Lowe's and Publix, where they said every store will have the same policy. And then it just started to trickle down where businesses finally said, look, we're going to take it upon ourselves to enforce this and make this happen. And, Miami-Dade really tried to enforce it. They were given fines. Right. And cops were showing up at, when they opened the bars, and they were checking capacity and they were checking social distancing. And if you weren't, they shut the businesses down. So the businesses got smart and said, look, if we want to stay open, we're going to do this.
But I will never walk into Walmart. That just terrifies me. When we were ready to go into Walmart, because we need things. The house was empty. My house is stocked by overstock.com, and a funny story. There was some huge heavy boxes being delivered by UPS. The poor guy this in July, and he's like, this is 118 pounds and I'm by myself. Now I helped them and we struggled. And he's like, we've become furniture delivery people. And it's like, I'm like, that is just terrible. But all of our everything just was coming in that way. And he had a mask and everything was good. But Walmart, we went to Walmart, it was the Wild West. And that scared us. That's it. We turned around and walked out. That's it. I said, I'll buy it. I'll buy things from does everybody where you're at, do they still have curbside pickup? Like my video card from Best Buy, that was so cool because that was the system that Carrie built, and the video card didn't work when I got it down in Florida, and so I had to buy one. So I ordered it online. Went the next day. That was awesome. I'm hitting a button and typing in the spot I'm at. Guy comes by with a sealed bag and gloves and a mask to give me my video card. I was like, I like that. I don't know if they're still doing that. I hope they keep, with everything changing, I hope they continue to have curbside.
Well, they're still doing it down here in South Florida. I would have to imagine that
they're doing it up.
They're doing it up there because Tampa was a hotspot area as well.
Yeah.
So. All right, guys. So we've hung out for quite some time. I want to thank you guys for hopping on and hanging out and celebrating 300 Part 2.
Yeah.
All right. This was great.
Definitely congratulations on the show 300. It's been awesome. I've listened since show 1, even back in the Matt Rainey and Lalo days. So listen.
How long did you listen?
Yeah, I listened. Actually listened to shows from Steve Cherubino back in the day. That's when I actually kind of found that podcast and Mike Tech show the same time and started listening to both of them. And I've been listening to podcasts forever, but I'm just glad you picked it up. This is one of like the Steve Cherubino daily shows were more like in shop, residential type tech stuff, and it's really craving a show with business style tech stuff and vendors and stuff like that. So I think you've done an awesome job picking up.
Well, you already had your Unbound Digital company when you started listening? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it was my early days. I've been around since 2000, so it's been 20 years. So
Jason would always write in with great answers. I'd throw out questions, and he'd be the only one giving me a great answer. That it was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and I still listen religiously, man. My Tech Show and Podnutz, and always at the top of my podcatcher. So yeah.
All right. So Randy, what are you doing? You've been doing that all night.
Playing with
what?
Make the noise.
Touching something and causing the interference.
Touching something.
That you scratch your beard, we can hear it. A really sensitive mic there.
I want you to have some cleanup to do. After I hang up, I want you to go clean it all up.
I don't even do that anymore. I just, if somebody says, well, who's that lip smacker? Rainey.
I mean,
I have not lip smacked this show. I made an effort not to.
That's the one thing over the past year I stopped editing. Really, I don't edit. I know if it's really bad, I paused and I was like, okay, I got to get to that mark, because I messed up or misspoke something that I'm like, nah, I don't want that in there. So I stopped editing Tech Vets because I had a censor carry, I would edit like chunks, for not cursing, but just being too mean, man, so something that, it's funny. And I would edit and it would take forever. And sometimes I wouldn't get to it for like a week or two. And listeners would rather they don't care about the ums and the uhs and just get it posted up. And so it's like, okay, that's why I'll post quicker, now, because, all right, that's it. So
yeah, we all forgive you, just throw it up there. We don't care. So
yeah, that's what I found out. And I used to beat myself up every show. Like I would edit, and then, okay, it's ready, so that was
yeah, I did that in the beginning and they were still bad. And I just figured I need to, practice. I need to get better equipment. And once I started getting all that and knowing, how to do a show and knowing how to edit faster is pretty much it. So there would be 3 things I would do to clean up the audio, and that was it. So I wouldn't go through. And here's the thing. This is what I stopped worried about the lip smacking. I stopped worrying about the gaps with the spaces.
Oh, that I still go through and take out.
I don't. I'm like, it's there, and people know why it's there. And
I have to take that out. 'Cause that's easy. You can see the gap.
True. True, but I'm at the point now where I just let it go. Let it go.
Wait, you don't notice it. I mean, you listen on 2X. I mean, you don't notice that stuff as much. So
That's true. That's true.
But even if you don't, it's just like a normal conversation. In a normal conversations, you might have a brief pause. So this is all just a conversation about IT.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Well, Mike, Jason, thank you guys for popping on. I'm gonna kick you out now so I can finish up with Mr. Rainey. And
all right. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Good talking to y'all.
Jason,
Yeah.
Matt. Thank you.
Enjoy those voodoo donuts.
yeah, definitely will. Yeah, I appreciate it. See y'all. Thanks.
all right, guys.
Congratulations, man.
Yep. Congrats.
All right. So, how was it?
That was good.
How you feel?
That's pretty nice to see all those guys again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good job. I can tell it was a lot of coordination and contacting people,
Yes.
which I wouldn't have done just because. But good job.
You have people for that.
That's right. Good job. Yeah, that was nice. I often wonder what happened to Lala and then Steve, and that's good. Very nice.
All right. So, any final words you'd like to say before I end off the live broadcast here? And we still have people watching, and for those that will be listening and listen to the end, what would you like to say about the fact that Podnutz Pro, show that you started and created, has made it to 300 episodes?
That's fantastic. I'm glad that it keeps going. Glad the show lives on better than ever.
I was going to say, do you think it's lived up to the quality that you did back in the day with the content and the?
I think it's in a lot of ways it's better because it's a much broader range of topics and so I mean I think in that ways it's better. Definitely the dedication and the range of topics I think is really good.
Well, I'm only going to say that the world has changed. There's a lot of more stuff out there,
Yep.
managed services and, bringing in the enterprise stuff and more vendors in the channel. So should give us content for quite some time.
Yep.
And,
Yep.
And hopefully you'll be with me when it's time for me to hand over the torch to the next host.
Yeah, I'll come back as like the great grandfather, and you'll be the the father. Yeah.
We'll create green jackets to pass on. So, all right. For those of you still watching and listening, thank you very much for participating in 300 and probably 301, because I'll probably have to break this up into 2 shows. But I want to thank you for listening, downloading, subscribing, and supporting the show in every way. Please check the show notes for anything that we've talked about tonight. We've got Lalo Nunez, who we have his website, and we want to follow him and his endeavors as he's been going on. Of course, Podnutz, the other shows that Door to Door Geek puts out. And we'll see what's up with Mr. Cherubino. See if he stays in the spotlight.
I don't think so.
Probably not.
I don't think he will.
Probably not. So, all righty, folks, that's going to do it for this episode of Podnutz Pro. Again, I want to thank everybody that came on tonight, including John Dubinsky, Don Sizer, Mike Smith, and Jason Miller. And of course, as always, my good friend, Mr. Matt Rainey. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Everybody else, thank you and good night.